Our mission is really to change aging, very simply to change the way people do it and the way they think about doing it. And to give you some history, I want to talk about aging in general, about where we've come from. I often start speaking to audiences by asking people to raise their hand and say, how many people in the room want to get older? I'm not going to do that to you because I'm probably preaching to the choir here. But I think I averaged about half the room raising their hands. And I often wonder, how did we get to live in a nation where people like the alternative to aging better than aging itself? We dislike aging in this country so much we'd rather die than get older. And there's lots of reasons for that. I think that obviously we live in a youth-oriented culture and the media drives that home. The other thing that's interesting now, especially, is the way that retirement is changing. Nancy mentioned that we're all getting older, and thankfully we are getting older. And we've had this idea of retirement for a long time, that what we should do is work our entire career very hard to have the right to do absolutely nothing with the rest of it. We want to look at life through a window. The concept for the longest time was to have a view of a golf course. It wasn't even to play golf. We just wanted to watch it through a window. Which obviously, when you retired at 65 and died at 67 was a fine idea, because if you had a couple of years of that, yeah, I can, pee away 2 years of my life and that's fine. But now that we live until we're 105 years old, we're talking about 3.5 decades of time. It's an acre of time to do nothing with. And so what people want to do now is to try and figure out what to do with that time. It's very similar to college. It's an opening, it's a new launching point in your life. You change from one position in your life to another. You have time on your hands. And I remember in college when I first got that catalog, and you open up that college catalog and there's just a world of opportunity in there, and you can redefine yourself. You can be anything you want to be. And I thought, what if we gave older people a catalog like that? What if we made it possible for them to go downstairs, walk down their 2-story walk-up garden apartments to that club room that we can hopefully remodel from the place that has 20 years of nicotine that you can peel off the walls, get rid of the frickin' bingo machine, and have them do something real for a change. So we started hiring professional level teachers. We had things operate on a semester basis, just like college. People would graduate from one level to the next, and they would learn things that were real. It wasn't arts and crafts. Let's teach arts. Let's teach people computers and languages and get people excited. Let's have them make films. Let's have them do something real with their life. And the thing that I notice about senior living is that the one thing that people have in common is being old, which strives to have all kinds of interesting conversations, like I'm on 27 medications and my elbow hurts, and the food in the dining hall isn't very good. So what I thought was, how do we create a neighborly concept of how people live together that's not about being over a certain age? What would I want? We've always asked the question, what would I want my mom or my dad to have if I moved them into some place? And what we've started trying to do is, what would I want? What would I want to have when I move into one of these places? So it's about taking someone who has never done something before, finding the dream inside that person, getting them to dust it off and to try it. And doing that inside this world that we call senior housing, because we have this crucible of all these people who live in these places who have this need to do something with the rest of their life and their time. But what happened early on was the concept started to get out and people glommed onto it. The LA Times did an article pretty early on when it was still sticks and bricks and hard hats. And then about 6 months or a year after we opened, the New York Times did a front page Sunday article on it. And it was the most emailed article in the world for 3 weeks. And that was, I knew we were onto something, that it was really amazing when we really started getting the response from that. One, the New York Times, and two, the response from it was just unbelievable, because I could tell that this was something that people wanted. That was the big breakthrough was, you finally had something where people looked at retirement and old age and said, okay, that's me. I can see myself inside that thing.